Greetings, Goddess Body, Mind, Spirit community. How are you all doing out there? How is everything going for you all here in this chapter, January 2022? Wow. I hope that you all are well. Today, I want to talk to you about, I went live so that we can do our mindfulness practice, maybe have a chat. I want to talk a little bit about Venus retrograde from a different perspective this morning regarding agreements. And I have a mindfulness practice to take us through. And I also have a card that I pulled for myself this morning from my Lemerian deck. And I thought, you know what? I want to share this with you all. So, whether you're here live or hashtag replay, I just want to welcome you. And I want you to know that I honor you, that I see you. And yeah, I'm cheering for you, dear sister. If there are any brothers watching, I'm cheering for you too. Um, and so I do want to start off though, because I can sometimes forget to do things. So I'm going to show this to you all. I had the honor to be on my friend's podcast. Her name is Sandy D, of All Things Relax. She's a part of my community, and she's a part of the inner circle and the spiritual aspirant initiation. And we've been a part of a business community, or we are a part of the same business community. And yeah, we had a nice chat. So I want to make sure I let you all know that you're invited to listen to me. And if you look in the description box of the video, you will see a link where you can go and listen to the podcast interview. I would really appreciate it if y'all did that, because I don't always get invited onto podcasts. There's another one coming out soon. But anywho, yeah, we just had a really good time. We had a really good time. We talked about my background. We talked about, astrology, the goddess-centered lifestyle, Oshun, how we relax, or, Sandy asked me how I relax. And yeah, it was just a really nice time. So I invite you all to check out the podcast interview of your goddess guru, your sister friend, Tyra, with her sister friend Sandy on All Things Relax. Um, good morning, Peg. How you doing? Hello, Eileen. Thank y'all so much. Thank you for being here, sisters. Thank you. So, I want to start off by talking about this Venus retrograde and something that came to me this morning, because y'all know I like to apply astrology. I consider myself to live the lifestyle of astrology. And so for me, the spiritual lifestyle in general is really about merging and fusing and integrating whatever I take in. It must be fused and integrated into my life in a way that I can apply it and I see results. I'm very results driven when it comes to, if I'm doing something spiritual, I want to see that there's some results from it. Now, the result doesn't have to be material. I think we need to just open our minds up to what results, you know, are permissible, or what we value as results. And so, yeah, for me, I need to know if I am seeking to feel more peaceful, that whatever I'm doing, it's leading me to that place. I should not have to be spending 2, 3, 5, 10, 25 years doing one ritual, and I'm still the nastiest person on the street. This is how religion gets really twisted. This is why people don't want anything to do with religion, because these people sitting up here talking about, hey, you know, we got this religion, and we know the way, and this is the way to do it, but these people still nasty. And it's not just one religion. You find this in so many different religions. I was raised Christian. I've seen it there. I've heard it from, just so many other different traditions. I remember I went and I don't know how. Oh, I think I went to like the cultural festival here in Nashville, and they were doing the chants, because I love kirtan chanting. And I was like, "Ooh, somebody's doing kirtan here." I went to some meeting and it was the men that do the Hare Krishna and it was women there and they had the Bhagavad Gita. Man, they had me so stressed. It was a very stressful situation. I was like, I'm never coming back here again. So it's in all religions, and and I made a commitment to myself. I don't care what it is. If I'm doing it and I'm not getting results, I'm not going to do it. Or maybe I need to find what's going on, right? So, um for me, astrology, it seems like to me a lot of times people like listening to it, but then my question is, what are you doing with it? Like, how is it changing your life? We hear all of this, we consume, 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 and then what do we do with it though? I'm very, very fortunate that one of my teachers, some astrology teachers, they have stuff that you can print out. Nick of the Dark Pixie and Dark Pixie Astrology. And she had these journals that, and she still, if you want, you can go sign up, get on her email list or something. I don't know how to do it, but she still sends out these journals. Maybe if you just get on her newsletter, she'll put in there when it's time, you can get this journal. Now, you do need to know a little bit about astrology. I'm not going to lie. I was learning it at the time. I would journal and I began to realize if I just took the time to ask myself, how am I going to apply what I just heard? Then it, I would literally, it would play out like that for me in my life. It would play out perfectly. And I started feeling like I have more control in my life. I started directing the results much better than before when I was just sort of I've done readings for myself for years, years. And there have been times when I strayed away from doing daily readings, but I had gotten back at this point to doing daily readings. But it was just, I don't know. I just remember getting to a place where I was like, I need something more specific. And so that's what showed me when we integrate astrology, then we can direct it. So, something I said the other day on my video, the Q&A and let's circle up and chat video, was that Venus retrograde, people make such a big deal about it. And we hear everyone talking about Venus retrograde, at the beginning. And then folks just go on to the next big event that's happening, forgetting Venus is retrograde 40 days. And this is a very important transit that you can make a lot of difference within your life. And so I want to talk to you about Venus retrograde from a different perspective today. Um, I know it's important for us to have guiding principles. It is very important for you to have a guiding principle. And this is a lot of what we see in religion. You get these guidelines that you follow and you can like refer back to them. And when you don't have a religion, then you've got to create your own guidelines. You've got to figure out whose guidelines am I going to use, or, which ones am I going to pick and choose from here and there. And four that a lot of you all know are the four agreements. I remember when I started talking about the four agreements here on this channel back in like 2019, I think it was. If not 2019, 2020. I just remember thinking every Libra season, I'm refreshing my mind about these four agreements, because Libra has to do with agreements, right? And who rules Libra? Venus. So I was like, all right, cool, cool, cool. When it's time for us to look at our agreements in Libra season. And I say it's time for us to look at our agreements in when Venus is retrograde. It's like, what have you agreed to? I think this is very, very important. And that's what I want to talk to you about right now. Venus will be retrograde until January the 29th. And so, what you have agreed to, and we want to look at these agreements. So, what you have agreed to is dictating what you do. So, let's talk about your agreement with yourself. What have you agreed to? Have you agreed to an identity that is empowering you, that is taking you in the direction that you want to go? that supports you feeling healthy and well and having a balanced lifestyle. Because again, these are Venusian topics that we should be, yes, I said should, we should be taking this time to look at right now, because it's an opportunity. Venus is a very fast moving planet. She's moving slowly right now. Oh, she came invisible yesterday. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. She's back visible. So yeah, she's been rebirthed. Wow. She's been rebirthed, and now we can have a fresh new start with her. So I just want to encourage you to look at, have you agreed to an identity, or what do you say about yourself? Have you agreed to that which is, supportive? And what have you agreed to that is negative? And you honestly have to say to yourself, what do I tell myself every day? What do I tell myself every day? And that will help you to um, look at, well, okay, this is empowering or this is not. And then if you're doing something that's not empowering, then you want to ask yourself, or, what is it that I want to tell myself? What do I want to agree to? So things that I agree to is, I agree to that I have a spiritual business. I'm doing my work at, living my life's destiny as somebody who shares wisdom and astrology. And that's just what I'm agreeing to. I'm not agreeing to making money in any other way. I was so like bouncing back and forth for a while. Like, well, it's certain money, like this money over here is more guaranteed because it's a job versus, well, I'm just going to agree to the entrepreneur lifestyle, go all into it. Right. Um, at one point I had agreed to, I don't know if I can really work out right now. I'm so tired and my body feels so broke down, and you know, and now I've agreed to, by any means necessary, get your body moving. Now I'm not killing myself. I used to think, oh, you got to work out hard. That was my agreement with myself. Now I've agreed, no, just work your muscles, get your sweat going on, move your body, strive for your 10,000 steps a day. This is what I'm agreeing to. So, and that is because I have agreed to the fact that I am a healthy person. I am someone who values health. That's what I've agreed to. So those are just my examples. I'd love to hear from you all. What have you agreed to? Or what do you need to be looking at? Eileen says, I tell myself that I create the universe around me inside and out. That helps me focus my thoughts better. That's a great agreement. She's agreed to that because that's what she's telling herself. That's an agreement. What you tell yourself, you've agreed to. Yesterday, I was just like irritated. My dog was barking while I was on a live stream where I was supposed to be relaxed. And I was just like, man, yeah, I told you I've been struggling with, like, I did not go get this dog, but I am 100% responsible for a dog I did not go and acquire myself. And I was like listening to myself, like every time you complain, you make an agreement with yourself, every word I say. So I had to catch myself. Sometimes we need to get stuff out. And then we say, well, this is what I'm going to agree to. And I just said, you know what? I have agreed that we have the dog. I'm not getting rid of this dog. I'm taking care of this dog you know, until the end of his life. Hopefully, I'm going to outlive the dog. He might outlive me. And I'm just not going to complain. When you have a dog, this is what you have to do. And it's like I agree that I'm just like doing what I got to do to take care of my dog. Peg, I'm constantly hearing about and see posts about the four agreements. I was like, okay, spirit is telling me to take notice, sit down and reflect on it. Um, Let me see, Peg. I used to have these agreements in here. And I think it's important. Like these agreements, man, I need to get rid of some of these little. I'm trying to see if I can. Oh, here we go. I love these agreements. So the first agreement is be impeccable with your word. Be impeccable with your word. First agreement. And that one right there, wow. I feel like that's like the most powerful one because when you're impeccable with your word, it's because you know you're agreeing to something. You're either agreeing to do it or not, to be it or not. And yeah, so be impeccable with your word is the first agreement. Second agreement, take nothing personally. And I have started reminding myself of this agreement every day. They bring so much peace. When you take nothing personally, you just get to shrug your shoulders and it doesn't matter how people show up. And, it's like, whatever. Third agreement, make no assumptions. Make no assumptions. I think this is a really good agreement because it forces us to ask people to clarify, or we can just have no thought about whatever we see. Because I mean, honestly, if we really think about it, we really don't know the full story about anybody. We don't. We only know about ourselves. So make no assumptions. And the last agreement, do your best. And if you do your best, and one of the things I love that this author says is, on a day where you feel 100%, your best is going to be one way versus if it's a day where you don't feel well, your best is something different. And I think a lot of people get it twisted because if it's a day where our energy is a little bit lower, we're thinking about on a day when our energy is great, well, I'm not doing that. So, we get all this distress. But it's like, no, you do your best on the day given whatever's going on with your energy. So, yeah, that's just a little bit of I just diverged a little bit. Yeah, let me see here. Yes, I dance every day now, simple and joyous. Beautiful, Eileen. That is beautiful. Yes, OMG, I said that to myself this morning. Agreed to move. Yes. Don't kill yourself, just move. I hope to talk about female hormones a little bit, more in the future. I say this all the time, but 2020 and 2021 took hold. And so it's like you got to talk about what's most important when it's up. But the one thing I will say is you have to eat and exercise according to your hormones. Not to, if we do that, you naturally going to have a body that's more in balance, meaning slimmer and more tight or whatever. It doesn't have to be muscular, but more tight. Um, and that is the truth. That's just what we need to understand. And me as a 51-year-old woman, I have one set, I got a hormonal system going on. And then other women as 30 something year olds, totally different. Even my 40 plus sisters, their hormones are different from mine because I'm almost to menopause. If I make it to May, y'all, 1 year, menopause, baby. I hadn't made it yet, and that's okay. I'm not rushing it. I'm honoring my body. Um, a woman who is who still can, have children. She is one way when her cycle is on, and then she has a different emotional body, hormonal body when the cycle ends. It's like different phases of her cycle. And that's what we should eat according to and exercise according to. And women's bodies have um a sensitivity to stress. And so this is why things like breath work and yoga and sleeping and resting and just doing things that are pleasurable are actually very important to women slimming down. If you want to keep your body slim and healthy, you should do breath work, stretch. If you don't like yoga, then just stretch, yoga, um, sleep as much as you can, and do things that are fun, like make sure you laugh or feel joy and be creative. That's actually a part of keeping the body healthy and slim. And the more we beat our bodies up because the fitness industry says do this, then the more we'll find our bodies are responding the exact opposite. That's what I had to learn the hard way. So I'm trying to help y'all out. Yes, I've actually only listened to that book on audio. Peg. The second one helps me with accepting rejection. Yes. Yes. And another thing, you know what? Let's reframe this because, Oshun or Venus represents Oshun, queen of the reframe. Rejection also could just be, you know what? Vibrationally, that person isn't for me. And I'm so happy I didn't waste my time. Like, reject me so that we can just get this thing over with. Y'all know when we stayed in something too long. That's again something else we want to be thinking about when it comes to agreements. Like, I have agreed to something that isn't working. And then, and at the end, I want us to take responsibility. If we stayed somewhere too long, I've done it and it's not working and things went awry. It's just like, well, you know what? I kept an agreement that I should have ended a long time ago. Right. So the sun salutation ritual opened up a whole new world for me. I'm amazed at the spiritual and physical results I'm getting. That sun salutation is real. It's a reason. It's a reason that it is so well known. Yeah. So yeah, I love the sun salutation. It's one of my favorites. Anything that has it's like the different ways of doing it. I'm not a yoga teacher, but some of it is like you just kind of like do the top part first, then you add in the whole thing where you go down and then you come back up. And even in the fitness world, because I'm a fitness instructor, one thing I learned from one of my coaches is the going down and coming up is extremely important. It's very healthy. So, you take the ritual down, you come back up, but then it represents this whole thing of how, we take the energy of our soul. This is how I describe it. It came to me one day doing the sun salutation. We take the energy of our soul, bring it down into the underworld, which I see it as the earth. And then, the goal while we're here is to reawaken. And that's when we come back up, right? I'm not saying anyone taught me that. Maybe I did hear that. I don't know. But that's just how it came to me one time. And it just reminds me of I'm here to go down into the darkness in order to reawaken. Okay. So let's just go on ahead and I want to do a body scan today. I did a body scan for myself this morning and I was like, oh, yeah, we're going to do a body scan today. All righty. So, if you're ready, let's just go on ahead and take a moment to settle your body into a comfortable seated position. And you may close your eyes or keep them slightly open with a soft focus gazing down. And allow your spine to lift and your shoulders to soften. Preparing for our body scan, let's just go on ahead and take in a full breath and a long, slow breath out. Bring gentle awareness to the breathing. Notice the in-breath and the out-breath. Notice the in-breath, the out-breath, and the spaces in between. Now, bring attention to the top of your head. Just notice sensations or lack of sensations. Move your attention down to the back of your head. the sides, to your forehead and face. Move your attention to your neck and your throat. And now your shoulders. Noticing what sensations you are aware of. Good. And shift your attention to your arms, your upper arms, lower arms, and your hands and fingers. And bring your attention to your back, your upper back, down to the middle, and down farther to your lower back. And bring your attention to your chest. Now slowly down to your abdomen. Just notice the way your body moves with each breath. Notice your legs, your thighs, and maybe sensations where your legs rest on your chair or whatever you're sitting on. Move down to your knees and calves. Now down to your ankles, feet, and toes. Notice what it feels like for your feet to touch the floor or whatever surface it's touching. Now bring attention to your entire body from the top of your head all the way to your feet. Just notice the whole body. Bring awareness to what it is like to be sitting here right now. Beautiful. And finish with a full deep breath in and a long, slow breath out. Slowly bring your attention back to the world around you, opening your eyes gently. Allow your body to move a little and see what it feels like. And I invite you to see if you can bring this connection to your body into whatever you do next or throughout your day. How was that, sisters? Good morning, Queen Monica. The Queen Monica is in the house. I love body scans. And the thought that came to me this morning with the body scan was right back to awareness is one of the top keys to self-mastery and self-realization. And I think about how many of us run around with our minds racing and scattered and just so full of whatever we've taken in or thinking about the future, ruminating on the past, that we're not fully anchored into our bodies. And we have this experience of the world is scary, things are not safe. And so when we do the body scans, it gives us an opportunity to get fully anchored, get our awareness fully anchored into this glorious, beautiful temple, our body temple. And when we do that, we have access to just so much goodness. Yeah. Oh, I felt good. That's my second body scan of the day. And I do love the notion of how can we take this awareness that we have anchored ourselves into right now into the rest of our day. And I invite you to look at what have you agreed to and to figure out if your agreements are what you want to keep. Do you want to stay where you're working? Do you want to stay where you're living? Just use this Venus retrograde to begin to shift what you're agreeing to. And it doesn't have to show up today. You can just say, I'm agreeing to something new. I'm no longer available for this. I am available for this over here, though. And that comes through awareness. That comes through intentionally making agreement. This is what I'm going for. And one thing, I'll give y'all another example. I told myself I am not going to go back to teaching dance and fitness. Once the pandemic shut things down, I was like, eyes free. I felt like one of my ancestors. And I love teaching dance and fitness. I do not equate it to slavery, but these are my ancestors. So I be thinking ancestrally sometimes. I'm just like eyes free. I was running in my mind, like, I'm getting out of here. I'm not coming back, baby. I no longer agreed to teach dance and fitness. I had broken up with it before. Now y'all gonna see me dancing and stuff. Me and Peg, we were dancing last night together a little bit. Y'all will see me dance. I'm just not gonna teach classes, right? Not on the regular. Y'all gonna hear me promoting it. Yeah, I'm gonna be in somebody's class. Don't get me wrong. I just don't want to teach this class. Okay. I'm just not gonna lie to y'all. I be thinking ancestrally at times. It's like, oh, like my ancestors, eyes free. I see that North Star. Baby, I'm running towards that North Star. Pandemic, it was like the pandemic unlocked, it turned the lock on something. And I was like, I ain't coming back here. And I'm not gonna lie. At the beginning of the pandemic, I was in this big manifestation course. And one of the things that the teacher said was, you have to decide, you have to let the universe know what you are available for or what are your rules for living. And that's what I say, Oshun, Venus. I interchange these two effortlessly. So that's what I mean when I say Oshun, Venus. When Venus is retrograde, essentially what we need to do is let her know this is what I agree to and this is what I don't agree to. And she's being all slowed down right now. She's like, okay, yeah, I'm listening. What are you agreeing to? And let me deliver it for you. Let me help you get it delivered because I want us to stand in a position of power, accepting my whole life is on me. Not that I got to do it all by myself, but we want to accept full responsibility for our lives. And so we want to make sure we agree to I am at first cause for my life. I may not be able to control other people, but I can control how I show up in the world. That's being at first cause. Because when we're at first cause, then we don't think we need some great almighty deity to do something for us. Instead, we know that energy resides within us. All we need to do is follow divine law and to have it, lead, guide, and direct us. It might be easy and effortless. Like somebody just gives you whatever it is that you want. Don't get me wrong. I believe in flow. Um, However, it may not be, we don't want to just be like, okay, I don't know. That was to me one of the things that one of the first things I let go of when I decided I'm no longer labeling myself as a Christian, is I've got to sit here and hope and pray that what I want is acceptable and that it will somehow happen. I got to hope and pray. No, no. I know for a fact I work in tandem with the universe. Me and the universe are one. And, you know, whatever I say I want in my life, that's what's going to be. You cannot control other people's lives. So, you may want somebody like a partner or something like that. That's the one caveat. Or you may want someone to live when it's their time to die. You can't create in somebody else's reality. All right. But what you can do is open yourself up to receive that divine mate, who has the qualities and the characteristics and who will be in relationship with you in a way that supports you. You can be open to that. And maybe somebody serves as a template, like, oh, I want like that right there. I may not be with that person, but that's who I want, like that. And we have to accept death is a part of life. And when it's time for people to leave, they're going to leave. We have no control over that. But we do have control over enjoying our last time with them, enjoying our memories that we had with them, and how they impressed us in our lives. So these are just examples of me talking really about the importance of us owning that we are first cause in our lives. And then we can begin to set up, let's say, I know Peg is going for shifting herself to a business. Oh, even Eileen shifting themselves towards a business. And so you just have to tell yourself, I'm only open to being an entrepreneur. And you have to be willing to embrace, there's a little bit of fire you got to walk through, y'all. When you're going from one rule to another, there's a little bit of a fire because we get very comfortable with our rules. It's just how we are designed. We get very comfortable with the rules. And then, it's time to move to operating in a different place, which is a little unfamiliar. But once you get to the other side, it's just how you live. It'll be no different. Like I hang out with people, all they do is entrepreneurship. They don't know anymore. They don't have a fear of making it happen or anything. It's just how they live. Um, and so you get on the other side and you just get used to it because that's your new rule. I make money from scratch. That's how I call entrepreneurship. I make money from scratch. I still have a little part-time job that I'm grateful for. Don't get me wrong. That I feel is a part of my mission. But to go from being someone who primarily makes her money from a job to being somebody who has a business. That's my rule. I changed from my one rule. Well, I will work jobs while I'm homeschooling. I will do whatever I need to do to stay a homeschool mom. That was my agreement. Some of it was save, find ways to save and not spend too much money because my husband, was the one that was the breadwinner. So save money and then make money in ways that I can take my kids with me. This was my agreement. And then now it's my agreement is I am an entrepreneur. And so going from that other way of making money to this, I've sweated. I have literally like had sheer terror because it's so new. But once you get to the other side of the agreement, it's just like, okay, new set point. Okay, I'm in a new place, new set point. And where we often kind of slow things down for ourselves is we don't realize that there is that time going between this is my old agreement, this is my new agreement. That in between stage where it feels uncomfortable, we don't realize it's actually just normal. It's just how it is when you get to your growth edge and you're going into a new place. That's a big deal. It feels like a big deal, but you'll survive. It's very, very normal. But you might want to set up agreements like I lose weight easily and effortlessly by doing belly dance. I'm just making up stuff using my examples. Okay. Y'all can tell me what is it? What do you want to agree to? I have a beautiful, loving marriage. I have a beautiful, loving partnership. I have so many beautiful, loving friends. I'm only agreeing to I have beautiful, loving friends. And for some people, that will be an agreement where you're going to have to accept. Maybe there is something all these years people have been saying, this is something about you that perhaps you need to look at and let go. Because maybe you got a wall up because you had a bad experience with friends in the past. And this wall has been put up to protect you. And it has protected you so well, you don't got no friends. And so now it's like I am so in agreement with I have beautiful, loving friendships that I'm willing to go through this pain of letting this wall down where I have not let anybody in. I'm only open and available to people who have similar interest to me. I'm not going to try to fit myself, to be a square trying to fit into a round peg. I'm not doing that no more. I'm only open to people who are willing to be okay with me. And that actually is something I had to make a shift because y'all know the homeschool space. First of all, I'm in Tennessee. Okay. So we already know this place is conservative as all get out. It wasn't like this when I first got here. It was always a little bit conservative, but it's got ridiculous in the last maybe 10 years. And maybe a little bit longer than that. But anywho, and then it's not a lot of black women. When I was homeschooling, I was rare. It was very rare to find black moms homeschooling their kids. So I did have to make alliances with people who I would never be friends with if we were not at this homeschool function together, where we're talking about things that are not super deep. I found myself in a lot of circles like that, and then I just started drawing a line, especially as my kids got older. And I started just feeling like I don't like hanging out with these people at all. I'm not open available. And I'm cutting relationships, folks getting defriended here and there and unfollowed and whatever. I'm not replying the email text messages. I drew a hard line with myself. If I got to censor myself, if I got to be wondering whether or not, people are judging how I am spiritually, then you're not going to be in my circle. I'm only open and available to people who are just like, I don't care, it's like it's all cool. And eventually I found these people. Eventually, I found them, and I spent a lot of lonely days as a homeschool mom, and I was just like, "You know what? I'm only available to people who I can just be authentic with. I'm only available to authentic relationships, and one of those rules for me is accept me how I am. I'm not gonna change you, you're not gonna change me, and we can love it." Hey, Azizi. I see, this is why I love my sisters. I knew y'all would get me. Me and the ancestors be talking all the time. I'm like, ancestors, come on now. We've got to get free up in this piece. Y'all know one of my chief guides is Harriet Tubman. I'm constantly like, all right, what would Harriet do? Harriet would just be like, I'm just going to do what I want to do because I've got to get my people free. Harriet ran on up to that promised land. Then she came back. She wasn't like, all right, y'all, I got the path. I'm away for all y'all. She was like, hell no, I'm out of here, baby. I'm bouncing. I'm bouncing to the promised land. And that's I literally make decisions like that. I went and got that hypnosis training. It was not a lot of us. Let me see here. I was pleasantly surprised to see two other Afro people It was other people of color, but two other Afro people in in my hypnosis training. I was shocked. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, and we all looked at each other. I see you. We here to get it. We Harriet Tubman, baby. We Frederick Douglass, because one of us a man. We up in here to get this and take this on back down to our people, because our people need this hypnosis. Um, I will go out into other lands and get whatever I need to bring back. First of all, for myself, and then once it works, I'm telling everybody. I'm telling all my people. Taking notes, I have to sit down and really recognize my thoughts. I was thinking about homeschooling my youngest kids, and it's uncharted territory for me. You don't need to be alone for that, Peg. You got me. I homeschool my kids K through 12, and I can connect you with any other moms. There's no reason for you at this point. It's all kinds of homeschooling um, resources out there, but you got me. If you go to my name, I think it's Tyra. Just look for me, Tyra. It might be Hargrow, Hargrow on YouTube. I may have posted some homeschools. Like that's where I go and post stuff that isn't necessarily specific to the topics on this channel. But I will start making more if I know you're going to go there. If you have questions, I think I've posted some homeschool videos there. New agreement. I have a beautiful, loving mate who is perfect for me. He's amazing. Asheo. Asheo. We speaking that with you, Azizi. Yes, we know all about the walls. The goddess guru is on this morning. Yes, 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 yes. I'm so happy to hear that, y'all, because y'all know I'm channeling, I'm flowing. A lot of times I don't know what I'm gonna say when I come on. So that makes me happy because I just said, mothers, tell me what to say. Tell me what to say. Okay, so let's talk about yeah, no, I'm very serious, Peg. You cannot bother me with talking anything about parenting and homeschooling. That was my first career. I was a childbirth educator, a Lila J League leader, organized all kinds of play groups, homeschooling experiences. When I tell you I'm a mom's mom, I'm very serious. I have no daughters. So, I'm sitting here like, who can I tell all that I know to? So thrilled I remembered to hop on, or the mothers nudged me. I'm happy to hear that, Azizi. I'm happy to hear that. So this is the card from my Lemerian deck that I pulled. It's called Crystal Keys. Man, this was yeah, I was just like, this is amazing. So essentially what this talks about is hidden codes, potent information, Lemerian seed crystals. Now, these are something that I've seen at the crystal store here. Lemerian seed crystals. And she talks about what these are. And I'm like, I need to go get me one of these crystals. Seeing your triggers as a gift. All right. That's what made me say, I'm getting ready. I'm talking about this morning when I get on. Awareness of drama creating patterns. Healing the earth by looking at your inner environment. Like this is me, y'all. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is me. Healing through awareness. I didn't even remember that. And haven't I been talking about awareness this morning? So I'm going to read a little bit and then we're going to talk a little bit. So I want y'all to tell me your thoughts as they come to you, okay? Lemerian quartz crystals are special pieces of clear quartz with indented ridges running across them. They are known as seed crystals because they are said to have been found individually buried in sand and earth rather than attached to a larger cluster the way most crystals are. Aware of their oncoming destruction, the Lemurians imbued information about how to avoid similar catastrophe on crystals and buried them. The ridges on the crystals are believed to be Lemurian inscriptions. These crystals are reappearing now as this knowledge is again relevant. When I tell y'all, there is so much that we have accessible to us, we need to go on ahead and just do the dang thing. All right. I'm gonna go get me a Lemerian crystal today. I had said I needed some more incense too. I'm going to go get me one of these Lemerian crystals. So just think about that. And surely it wasn't just the Lemerians who did this with these crystals. Maybe this is why people are so into crystals. What if in these crystals is embedded information about how to avoid a similar catastrophe? What if that's what's embedded in all these crystals that we're so into? This card is about deciphering wisdom codes. We may wonder how to access information regarding our spiritual growth as we navigate our everyday reality. This wisdom comes through inner paradoxes when we are truly present, when we are awed, when we are in creative flow, or when we are in a state of surrender. It may come as riddles and in the most unlikely places. Zen Buddhism taps into this using koans. I don't know how, I think that's how you say that, which are paradoxical statements that the mind cannot fathom to bypass traditional understanding and allow the spiritual epiphany and a deeper knowledge of the soul to surface. And so, this is another reason why mindfulness is so important and getting the mind to slow down to get yourself anchored in this now moment. Because when our minds are racing and when we're all over the place and when we're in the future, we're having future memories and past memories, then we don't have access to the wisdom. And so we have a conscious mind, and the conscious mind, um, it is very much like a gatekeeper. It decides what comes in and what can't come in. It's very selective. It doesn't actually see the full picture. It can only take in a small amount of wisdom, whereas the subconscious mind is all knowing. It's open. And so, and it has access to wisdom and information and knowledge that unless we're tapping into that power within us in our subconscious mind, we just don't really feel very resourceful. Okay. So what we want to do is, or what she's letting you know is, the quieter you can get yourself, or the more you can disengage the conscious mind, or give it something to do, that, like with the riddles of Zen Buddhism, give it something to think about. Like, I can't like figure this out. Then the conscious mind now can, it has something, the conscious mind has something to do, and the subconscious mind can now come through and start just doing its thing. Um, okay. So key wisdom codes can come to us when we are triggered. Let me just check something real quick, y'all. Okay. Okay. I am going to have to get off here in a few minutes. Key wisdom codes can come to us when we are triggered. They are accessible in those moments when everything becomes more emotional, dramatic, or painful than it needs to be. Here, when the light shines on our shadow, we are graced with significant insight into the places we can grow and evolve from, although it might take courage and a healthy dose of self awareness to embrace the truth of these moments. And I want to just tell you what she said. Be inspired to find the wisdom hidden in those times you feel triggered. There's so much information within our raw, intense reactions that when you choose to be present with what is coming up and peel back the layers, great spiritual insight will unveil itself in a way tailored just for you. If we could all learn to see our triggers in the bigger picture, so much confrontation and upset would be lessened, power struggles and fear would diminish, and we would see greater compassion across the planet. Perspective and misunderstanding would shift, and the way people want to be loved would be experienced without distortion. These are the seeds for peace on earth. So I just want you to look at the times when you feel the most upset, when you feel the most triggered and just poked and prodded by people. Say, oh, it's some wisdom up in here. I'm getting ready to unlock a code, baby, and see what comes to you. Okay. So y'all, I just remembered I have a meeting that I need to be at right now. So I'm gonna go on ahead and log off. Woo! I always feel so good after I talk to you all. I just want to remind you all that I am on, and this is for people who will be watching the replay or who came in late. I am on Sandy's podcast. The link is in the description box. I would love it if you checked it out. It would support, her podcast. She's an amazing, amazing human, lovely, lovely lady. She and her partner G are just so gracious and have been helping me so much learn how to get better at maybe even getting myself like with a podcast going, but also making all the recordings that I make for my meditations in Inner Circle. So if y'all would, please check out her podcast, and the episode with me on in particular is there. You're welcome, Azizi. Thank you all so much. Love y'all. And the next time I'll be back live, I'm not quite sure. I'll let y'all know. I'll do my best to like project out into the future and get something up so that you can see a notification. I wish y'all a wonderful rest of the day. Love you all so much. Mwah. Peace and love.